I've gone ahead and created a fun little animation of an alien spacecraft flying by my groovy little turret, and my turret is tracking my alien spacecraft as it travels through the sky. I think the turret is a little uncertain if these aliens are peaceful or not, so he's just being watchful and always minding the current location of our alien spacecraft. Now, I've done all of this through a whole series of constraints. The only keyframes that I've applied to the entire scene here are on the path constraint percentage on the actual spacecraft itself. Let's just play the animation. It's really simple, but there goes the spacecraft. It's following the path, and my turret is following along just quite perfectly. It's pretty neat. Now, in addition, I also have a whole series of cameras set up inside of the scene itself. And really what I would like to do is interactively switch the render camera between these three unique perspectives, because I don't want to render out just one shot. That's boring, that's static. I want to show my audience a number of different views of this entire movement, so I've placed these different cameras around the scene. Let me give you a tour of what I've accomplished. I'm going to change my view of my scene over into, let's just start with cam 1. So this is what camera 1's seen. It's going to be the master shot. It establishes the location of my turret, and there goes my spacecraft as it enters in on scene. Awesome, there's cam 1. Let's go over and check out cam 2. Cam 2 is a little bit different. This is going to be looking at more of the turret's perspective. There we go. You can see it's moving, and it's tracking the alien spacecraft, which is kind of cool. And then camera 3 here is my first-person POV shot of the actual turret itself. And this is kind of fun, as you can see that it's completely tracking the turret, always ready to take fire at our alien invaders. Are they peaceful? I don't know. You tell me. Okay, anyways. So those are the three cameras, and I want to change my render settings to interactively switch, kind of like a camera switcher does in a broadcast television studio, between these three different cameras. And it's really, really easy to do this, and let me show you how it works. Okay, first and foremost, we need to change our view here to the render camera value inside of this pull-down menu, okay? Now, what camera are we looking at? Right now, we're looking through the render camera, which happens to be toggled at render 2, or camera 2. What we need to do is return to our shader tree and select the render item itself, because here is the value that we're going to animate. It's a drop-down menu. I want to start off with camera 1. And we're going to be on camera 1 for a period of time. Let's go ahead and start kind of ironing out the keyframes here. We're going to start off with a keyframe on camera 1, and then it's going to hold that keyframe until maybe right about there, where I want to switch to camera 2. See, it's camera 1, and then once it hits that keyframe, boop, it's going to switch over to camera 2. So maybe right around in here, I'm going to switch to camera 3. It's fantastic. Let's play the animation as is. There it goes. Something simple like that. Now it's looping over and over and over again. So I'm basically editing the cameras that I want my camera to, or that I want the render engine to display and render for me on the fly, which is very, very cool. I don't have to render out each camera individually and separately. I can do this interactive switching right here in Modo, and it's a great time saver, especially with movements like this, where I don't necessarily need or want to create a very complex render system with thousands of render frames and rendering out all of my cameras independently. I can do this interactive camera switching live on the spot. Now, all of this information is going to flow into the preview render engine inside of Modo, and I can illustrate that for you. Let's just go ahead and fire off preview. It's pretty basic, as one might imagine. Let's again look through our render camera down here, and this view and this view are all synced up. And as it goes through, right around in here, yep, it's going to switch its perspective. And then as it gets to that second keyframe, it's going to switch as well. So mission accomplished. All this information is piping through to the online rendering engine, and I know that what I'm going to render is going to be directly identical to what I'm seeing down here in my OpenGL viewport. That's how we interactively change the render cameras over here in Modo.